Welcome to the Adventure Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to create gorgeous number stacks, and it all starts with a good foundation. Now I'm going to create quads of 11-inch balloons using my electric balloon inflator and a sizer box. Inflate two 11-inch balloons at the same time, and then we're going to use the sizer box to slowly let air out until they're both 9 inches in diameter. Make a pair by overlapping the nozzles and wrapping one of them around twice and tying them in a knot. This will create our first pair. Make a second pair in the exact same way and overlap them so that the nozzles touch in the center. Then twist one balloon from each of the pairs around each other, locking it into a quad. For this design, you're going to need 6 of these quads. Next, inflate 4 5-inch balloons with 3 pumps of air using a hand pump or to about 4 inches in diameter. Slip the nozzle of that first balloon under one of your fingers holding the pump while you inflate the second balloon to the exact same size. Press them against the table to make them nice and round, and then tie them together in a pair. Make a second pair in the exact same way, and then we're going to twist the 2 of those around each other to create a quad. Repeat this step until you have 5 of these quads prepared. I'll be joining all these quads together using an empty 260 balloon that I've removed all the air from and tied the nozzle off in a knot. Secure one end of the 260 balloon to our first 9-inch quad. You can do this by either tying the end of the 260 to one of the nozzles of that quad, or you can pinch the end of the 260 against the nozzles, pull it tight, and then wrap it in a figure 8 pattern around 2 of those balloons a couple times, and that will secure it in place without having to tie a knot. Next to the 9-inch quad, we're going to add in one of those 4-inch quads. Nestle it so one balloon of this quad sits between 2 balloons of the quad below it. Then pull that 260 string up through the center of this new quad and wrap it around 2 balloons on opposite sides of each other. Layer on another 9-inch quad, making sure the balloons of this quad sit between the 4-inch balloons below it. Every time we add a new quad, the balloons will be in this orientation where one 4-inch balloon will always point out the front and 2 9-inch balloons will point out the front. This will give us a nice square base to build our design on top of. As I continue to tie my quads together, alternating between the 4 and 9-inch balloons, know that you can adjust the size of this base to fit the numbers that you'll be adding on top. Because I'm using 2 numbers that are fairly wide, I had to use 6 9-inch quads to be able to support that. But if you're using numbers that are narrower, like 1 or number 7, or you're using a single number on top, you could use 4 9-inch quads instead of the 6. Once the final quad is attached to the base, take any remaining 260 tail and tie it to one of the nozzles of that final quad to secure everything in place. Because number stacks are a drop off and leave it kind of design, we have to give this some stability without adding metal plates that we have to go back for. An easy solution is to add water or sand weights to the base of the design. One quad in from each end, I'm going to tie on a water weight. Simply tie the nozzle of the water weight to one of the nozzles of the 9-inch balloon quads. Once both weights are tied to the same side of the design, I'm going to flip it over so that the water weights are against the table or the floor. By adding this tiny bit of weight, we'll give our design some stability. The key to creating a gorgeous and profitable number stack is by adding on interesting details without spending tons of time on it. I created these mini balloon clusters by inflating 5-inch balloons with 1 pump of air or to about 3 inches in diameter, tied them into quads, and then I tied 1 quad to each end of an empty 260 balloon. I'm going to slip these mini clusters over the top of the base so that the 260 holding the quads together sits against the nozzles of the base, and place one of those mini quads on the front and one on the back. Then arrange the balloons of those quads so one balloon points up, down, left, and right so that they nestle right in between our 9-inch balloons. I made 5 of these mini clusters, one to sit on top of each of those 4-inch quads of the base, giving us a beautiful textural accent without lots of extra work or time. Foil balloons are the star of the number stack, and I'm going to inflate all my foils using an electric balloon inflator to inflate most of the balloon and then finish off the inflation with a hand pump so I don't overinflate them. The valve inside the balloon needs to be nice and straight as you inflate it, because if it's folded over, the air can't get in. I'll fill the balloon most of the way full till it's nice and squishy. Then I'll use my hand pump to put a couple more pumps of air in until it's nice and firm. By using the hand pump, we can slowly creep up on the fill and reduce our risk of popping the balloon. I won't be using the nozzle to secure the heart to the number stack, so I'm going to roll up the nozzle and use a glue dash to stick it to the back side of the heart, the side that has the barcode on it, and that will hide away our nozzle. Next, I'm going to add some custom text to the foil balloon made from white removable vinyl that I cut on my Cricut machine. I made sure that my lettering was no more than 12 inches wide so it didn't wrap too far around my 18-inch heart. In my experience, the key to a successful vinyl application is having a low tack transfer tape and starting the application in the center of the design and working out towards the edges. Around the edge of all of my foil balloons, I'm going to add some 260 balloon pearls. So I've inflated lots of 260s with 2 pumps of air, tied the nozzle off in a knot, and then I securely wedged the foil balloon between my torso and a table so it doesn't shimmy around on me. To make a 260 string of pearls, pinch the balloon about an inch or inch and a half from the nozzle, twist it a couple times, and then attach a glue dash to this first pearl. Secure the pearl to the foil balloon right along the seam edge. Now on the heart, I'm going to put it right on top of the nozzle so it's hidden from sight. Then I'm going to squeeze my 260 balloon to push the excess air out and create another pearl by pinching the balloon an inch to an inch and a half from the previous twist. Twist the balloon a couple times and then repeat this process to continue making pearls. You always want to twist your balloon in the same direction. If you go back and forth, all of your pearls will unravel. Once you've made 5 pearls, attach another glue dash to that 5th pearl, gently pull on your string of pearls so it's taut against the foil balloon, and stick that 5th pearl against the seam of the foil balloon. Continue twisting pearls, sticking them to the balloon with a glue dash every 5 pearls. Now I did notice on the inside curve of the numbers in the heart, I did need to put my adhesive a little closer together as the pearls wanted to pull away from the balloon a little bit more. Once you get near the end of your 260 balloon and you can't make any more full-size pearls, pinch your balloon right after that final twist of the last pearl and push any remaining air further down the balloon. Then you're going to take the nozzle end of a new 260 balloon and tie that right up against the last pearl in a double knot. Then take a pair of scissors and trim off the nozzle and the remaining 260 tail from the previous balloon. You can either do this as you tie on new 260s, or you can finish the entire foil balloon and then go back and trim these at the end. The goal is to not have a major gap between the end of one balloon and the start of the next. If you'd like some additional support in making your own balloon number stack, I have a set of written plans available in the description box below. These include step-by-step written instructions, full color illustrations, as well as a complete supply list. You can find those plans linked in the description box below. Continue to twist your pearls, attach them to the seam of the foil, and add on new 260 balloons until you've wrapped all the way around the foil balloon and get back to where you started. Try to size those last couple pearls so that the final pearl touches the first pearl. Tie the nozzle of that first pearl right up against our last one in a double knot and secure that last pearl in place with one final glue dash. I repeated the same process around both of my foil numbers so that all 3 foils are edged in pearls. To attach my numbers to the base, I'm going to take an empty 260 balloon and thread it through the tab on the bottom of my number and tie it in a knot. I attached a 260 to each tab along the bottom of both of my numbers and trimmed off any extra tabs along the top of my numbers. Set your first foil number on top of the base and align the 260 tails with one of those 9-inch balloon quads. The bottom edge of the number should be nestled down between 2 of those 9-inch balloons. Then gently pull on one of those 260 tails and wrap it in a figure-8 pattern around 2 of those 9-inch balloons on the front side of the design. Then take the other 260 tail attached to the same tab and wrap it around 2 of those 9-inch balloons on the back side of the design. Repeat this step until every tab of your numbers is attached to the base of the design. It's important to carefully look at your numbers and make sure you've got them facing the correct direction out the front of the design. I accidentally had my number 5 flipped around backwards, and I had to completely untie it and retie it in the correct orientation. Finally, I'm going to attach my heart balloon to the front of the design using some glue dashes. I'm going to hold the heart against the front of my design, and everywhere the heart touches the balloons behind it, that's where I'm going to place a glue dash. So one dash will go on each of my numbers as well as those front 2 latex balloons. I'm going to pull off the paper backing from the adhesive and carefully hover my heart balloon over the adhesive and gently press each one into place, paying special attention that the orientation of my heart is nice and level, including the text on that heart. By adding in a few simple embellishments, we can create gorgeous number stacks without spending tons of time. If you enjoyed this project, you should check out this video. And until the next time, remember, stay creative, everybody.